Hello and welcome again to the analysis of A Silent Song and Other Stories. Today we are moving on to story number 12, if I'm not wrong, called December by Filemon Liyambo, all the way from Namibia. If you like this content, please subscribe, and also you can comment in the comment section so that you know what you think about the content and what you would like us to address. On to it. Well, December is a story that explores the effects of superstition, unfounded beliefs, and deep cultural beliefs on mental health stability. The story is majorly about a character called September and his family, which have unfounded history on mental health issues. I'm saying unfounded because there is no logical explanation on what these characters are going through. Those characters that are faced with this problem, there is no logical explanation that is given to why they are facing such conditions. The title December is derived from September's elder sister called December, who is in a mental hospital, and the family is said to have a history on mental health issues and problems. Their grandfather, by the name Ezekiel, believes that September had traces of idiotism and that he took after his youngest brother. That is Ezekiel's youngest brother called Joseph, who has a problem with mental issues, with mental stability and all that. September studies in abroad, actually in the UK, and he has shown compassion towards his sister who is in a mental hospital in a psychiatric ward. And maybe what the author, Philemon Liyambo, is trying to communicate is that compassion can help people suffering or people who are having issues with their mental stability. And we can see this because he buys her chips at the beginning of this short story. He buys her chips from KFC, something that the waitress finds inconvenient because who walks to KFC and only orders for chips and no chicken? Look at that. So, yeah, the waitress is somehow amused that the September will just walk into KFC and order for chips and no chicken. But there is a story as to why he's not buying his sister a chicken, stemming from his grandfather, who is a stickler to traditions and hiding of secrets. There's some deep-rooted secret that his grandfather Ezekiel is not sharing. So it is his grandfather who insisted that December could not eat chicken, and there's no clear reason given. This is after an incident where December had hurt her brother, that is September, when he was 4 years old. And from that day, their grandfather said she should not take chicken. And the reason he gives is that is how things are. And from this short story, it's also clear that December cares for her brother September, especially when she injured him. That is when he was 4 years old, when they were digging and he accidentally hurt him. She nursed him back to health. So the two brothers are their own support system. They support each other for their own growth and for their own stability. But I want you to imagine this. Imagine you are named September and you were born in July. Imagine you are named December and you are born in September. That is the situation that is in this particular short story. Their father, Silas Shikongo, had a warped view of time and named his two children unconventionally. Look at this. December was born in September, and September was born in July. So the problems, look at that, even from the unconventional naming. But the two siblings are gifted academically. However, December develops mental illness while in school. She'll have problems with her classmates, those name calling, cat fights, and she will even walk half naked through the streets talking to herself. And this was a puzzle to September because he knew people do not just go crazy overnight. without a plausible explanation. There must be a logical explanation as to why the sister is just all of a sudden going crazy. So there is no background, there's no information as to why his sister would just go crazy overnight. So he did not even subscribe to his grandfather's notion that his sister had been bewitched. What I told you about unfounded beliefs. No, so the grandfather believes that the sister December is bewitched. Ezekiel, that is Ezekiel, the grandfather, was motivated to say this because of what had happened to his younger brother Joseph, who had quite lost his head, and he got lost from home for over a month. But he kept a secret on what may have contributed to the same. There's no much information provided on the same. Now, what September failed to understand is why the illness just struck a few months before she could finish her secondary school and enroll at a teacher's training college. And September believes maybe there were other forces behind all this because no information is given about this situation. But at the psychiatric unit, the nurse is not sympathetic towards September because he was like 30 minutes late and even goes ahead to call security on him, the nurse at the psychiatric unit. But fortunately, one of the security guys is well known to September, who had in fact been pursuing December way back in a love affair. The nurse softened when she learned that September studies in the UK. You know, it's typical of Africans. When you learn that someone is from abroad or they do their business abroad, you kind of become soft towards them and you compromise. So she compromised and allowed September to visit his sister, who is in a psychiatric unit. So December is in a pathetic situation. Her hair is scattered like patchy grass, her lips are swollen, and September believes maybe she had gone through the wall once again because of the voices in her head. But nonetheless, to point towards his compassion towards her, he gives her a jersey, a pen, and some puzzles in a book full of puzzles and all that. They spend some time, some quality time together because, of course, remember, September does not understand this disease and what is ailing his sister. But at the same time, their grandfather dies, and this death is actually symbolic. It is signaling to the fact that maybe this is a new start. It is perhaps not just the death of Ezekiel, but also the death of retrogressive beliefs that had held the family down. Maybe it was a new dawn for September and his sister December. Maybe it is a new awakening. They are going to live a life free of preconceptions and judgment. And maybe it's a beginning of a new realization and embracing of a new start. So that is December by Filemon. Liyambo is a very short story and straight, and it does not have a lot of complications in it. Now, what are the possible cases, equations that you might be asked from this short story? Number one, misconceptions about mental health can lead to suffering, and then you write an essay. Number two, the sick need compassion and not judgment, and then you write an essay drawing illustrations from Filemon Liyambo's December. When they ask you about misconceptions about mental health, focus on Ezekiel, grandfather to December and September. He prohibits December from eating chicken after she had injured her brother without any explanation, believes that September has traces of idiotism. Look at that, without giving an explanation, believes that December had been bewitched, dumps her at the hospital, and of late he's not been visiting. So there's no, there are many misconceptions about mental health that Filemon Liyambo has brought in this text. When they ask you about compassion, you focus mostly on September, how he cares for his sick sister who will visit her every now and then. Every time he has the chance, he will try to visit her and look at what he does to her, cares for her, always believes that maybe it is not witchcraft as subscribed by his grandfather, and believes maybe there are other forces. He does not give up on his sister. And so you focus more on what September does, gifting her that jersey, gifting her a pen and puzzles and KFC chips and all that. So it shows compassion. They hug each other. You bring out those finer details, and you'll be good to go. So that is it. Remember, if you like this content and want to receive more, please subscribe. It will also help to push it to the next level and also to more people. And also you can comment so that we know what we are doing wrong and what we are doing right and what we should do next. Until next time, it is bye.